Evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. For those that would like to utilize our ASL services, our two interpreters are Andrea and Craig Ridgway. In the chat, you will find instructions on how to pin their video throughout the meeting. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Arva Rice, and I would like to call the February 2022 Civilian Complaint Review Board meeting to order. And with that said, I'd like to introduce myself, and I'll do that a little bit later, but I'm Arva Rice, serving as the interim chair for CCRB. If I can have the members of the board introduce themselves. John Siegel.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Rice. My name is John Siegel. I'm a lawyer in Manhattan, living in the Bronx, and appointed by Mayor de Blasio to the CCRB, and I welcome you as chair.
Thank you so much, John. Erica Bond.
Erica will be joining us a little later.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Corrine Irish.
Thank you, Chair Rice, and welcome. My name is Corrine Irish. I am a mayoral appointee and live in Harlem.
Thank you so much. Reverend Demetrius Carolina.
Thank you, Chair Rice. This is Demetrius Carolina from Staten Island, a mayoral appointee as well.
Perfect. Joseph, have you joined us? Joseph Puma.
Good afternoon, Chair Rice. It's a pleasure to welcome you as chair. My name is Joseph Puma. I am the Manhattan City Council representative to the board from the Borough of Manhattan, and I live on the Lower East Side.
Thank you. Michael Rivadeneria, and please correct my pronunciation of your last name.
No problem. And thank you and congratulations, Chair Rice. I am Michael Rivadeneira, the City Council's Bronx designee, and I reside in the Bronx.
Terrific. Thank you, Michael, and thank you for being gracious. Has Frank joined us yet? I don't think he has. All right. So has Sal joined us? Sal Carcatera.
Sal is joining us by calling in, and Soren will let us know when he's been upgraded.
Terrific. Esmeralda Simmons.
Good afternoon. I'm so happy to call you Chair Rice. My name is Esmeralda Simmons. I'm a resident of Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, appointed by Public Advocate Jemani Williams to this board.
Terrific. And Herman Merritt. Herman, are you with us?
And Mr. Merritt, I believe you're muted.
I'm so sorry. Welcome again, Chair Rice. And my name is Herman Merritt. I am the Brooklyn representative appointed by the City Council.
Terrific. Thank you. And as you heard from, that there will be a couple of other board members who will be joining us over the course of the meeting. But thank you so much, board members, for joining us for this February meeting.
And Chair Rice, we are joined by two more. I know that the setting, you might not be able to see all the videos. We've been joined by board member Erica Bond and Frank Dwyer.
Wonderful. Erica, could you introduce yourself?
Of course. Good afternoon, all. My name is Erica Bond. Apologies, I'm a few minutes late here. I am a mayoral designee and I reside in Brooklyn. Good to see everybody.
And then I believe that Frank Dwyer joined us as well.
Thank you. I'm Frank Duoy. I want to thank Soren for his Herculean effort to reroute me through a different route in. And he did it amazingly quickly, hitting 10, 15, 20 different little things. So that was really impressive. I'm Frank Duoy. I'm a police commissioner designee.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And I believe I have all the board members who are with us this afternoon. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
No motioned.
Second.
We have a second. All right. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes as presented? If not, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
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 All those
Aye.
opposed? All those opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Thank you so very much. Good afternoon and welcome again to the Civilian Complaint Review Board's February meeting. My name, as you just heard, is Arva Rice, and I'm thrilled to welcome you and to accept the role as the interim chair of the board. I'm particularly excited to be chairing my first meeting during Black History Month. As some of you know, I joined this prestigious group of men and women on the board last year, and I'm very proud to now serve as the interim chair. As the current president and CEO of the New York Urban League, I am working to enable underserved communities to secure a first-class education, economic self-reliance, and equal respect of their civil rights through programs, services, and advocacy, which is the mission of the New York Urban League. Before joining the Urban League, I served as executive director of Project Enterprise, an organization that provides business loans, technical assistance, and peer support to New York City entrepreneurs who lack adequate resources and to business financing. Under the last administration, I served as commissioner for the New York City Equal Employment Practices Commission and Mayor de Blasio's Commission for Gender Equity. Before joining the CCRB, I worked with former Police Commissioner Shea and Mayor de Blasio on a department-wide initiative to reform the NYPD. And in March of last year, the City Council passed a resolution adopting our final Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative Plan. After decades working to make New York City a fairer, more equitable, and safer city, I am pleased to use my expertise to lead the CCRB in its next chapter. The CCRB is a uniquely important agency that is key to fulfilling this great city's mission to protect New Yorkers. And as it grows in number and power, the agency continues to expand its services to those in need. I would like to particularly thank Chair Fred Davies for his impeccable service to the city. Under his leadership, the board made great strides in the last several years, expanding the CCRB's powers with the right to investigate sexual misconduct, untruthful statements, bias-based policing, and more. At the end of the last year, the City Council passed a groundbreaking bill allowing the CCRB to self-initiate complaints. I hope to build on that momentum and continue to push the agency forward. We have many goals for the coming year, and we will need to work closely with the new administration and city and state legislatures to achieve them. A top priority is passing a bill in the state Senate to give oversight agencies like the CCRB an exemption from sealing statutes. With the recently added ability to self-initiate complaints and investigate incidents of racial profiling occurring since 2016, the CCRB needs access to sealed arrest records, which often cover up officer misconduct. I will also continue the fight for final disciplinary authority in CCRB cases. Misconduct cannot be truly addressed while the NYPD has the final say. I am hopeful that we will have a partner in Mayor Adams who has continually called for safety and justice together to improve the city's policing and has been a reformer of the NYPD both when he wore a badge and when he served as a state senator. The CCRB will be a key part in ensuring accountability for police misconduct and repairing police-community relations in the coming years, and I look forward to doing all I can to help facilitate that. I will next acknowledge board member Corinne Irish has been selected as part of the prestigious 2022 class of Presidential Leadership Scholars. Please bringing together a diverse network of leaders to collaborate and create meaningful change in the United States. Congratulations on this incredibly exciting honor. I would also like to you're welcome. And I would also like to congratulate board member Reverend Dr. Demetrius Carolina, who has been named as a New York City Commission on Human Rights Trailblazer. Dr. Carolina is specifically being honored for his outstanding work advocating for Black American human rights in New York City. So thank you for your incredible service to the city, and thank you all. And I'm now going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Jonathan Darsh. Jonathan?
Thank you, Chair Rice. Staff is very lucky to have your dedication and expertise leading this agency. Last week, a court upheld the CCRB's right to prosecute serious misconduct. Last fall, the CCRB substantiated charges against Officer Wayne Isaacs, and the NYPD served those charges. Officer Isaacs sued to avoid discipline for his misconduct. While this decision is a success for the CCRB and the city as a whole, the case will now go in front of the Deputy Commissioner for Trials, and the APU team that is handling that case will make sure to present all of the evidence and work to convict Officer Isaacs in the disciplinary trial. Two quick updates on agency operations. First, the CCRB continues to review protest cases, and we expect to have a protest report out in the coming months. The office is open, and so if you want to file your complaint in person, we are here and available, but it would still be easier if you want to file your complaint online or over the phone if possible. Some ground rules for today's meeting. In the public session, please use the raise the hand feature to make a comment, and please keep your comments to 2 minutes. And I'd like to thank the people who will be participating and who are watching today for participating in this meeting. Thank you, Chair Rice.
Thank you so much, John. We appreciate that presentation. And I wanted to ask the members of the board if you all have any questions in regards to the presentation that you just heard from our Executive Director. Any questions? Okay. Giving people a moment to click on their muted button. All right, so seeing none, we will go forward with our report, the presentation from our Director of Outreach. So Jahai Rose, if you can come forward to make your presentation. Thank you, Jahai.
Thank you very much, Chair Rice. We definitely appreciate you having you on board as our interim chair. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yep. The Civilian Complaint, as many of you know, the Civilian Complaint Review Board is the nation's largest independent oversight entity over the largest police force in the country. CCRB investigates, mediates, and prosecutes complaints of police misconduct made against officers in the New York City Police Department. The agency is governed by a 15-member board. You have met many of our board members today, 5 being appointed by the New York City Council, 5 being appointed by the mayor, 3 designated by the police commissioner, 1 appointed by the public advocate, and the chair is jointly appointed by the mayor and the city council. The CCRB's jurisdiction allows us to investigate 4 categories of allegations. That includes force, abuse of authority, discourtesy, and offensive language. FATO is a helpful acronym that could be used to remember the CCRB's jurisdiction. Just wanted to provide you with a little bit of information regarding the Right to Know Act. The Right to Know Act is a law that went into effect October 19th of 2018. This pertains to stop, frisk, and searches, checkpoints, and other encounters. The components of the Right to Know Act include officers identifying themselves by providing their name and other information such as rank, command, and shield number. With some exemptions, explaining the purpose of the encounter. Under certain circumstances, they should inform an individual of their right to say no when asking for a consent search of someone's person, property, vehicle, and or home. And under certain circumstances, they should offer a business card with the officer's information, which explains how to make a comment and or complaint about an interaction with a New York City police officer. And civilians can make a request for this business card in all encounters. Now, this is an image of what the business cards look like. Now, there are a few ways to file a complaint about police misconduct, as mentioned by Executive Director Darsh. One of the easiest ways is by filing it online, NYC at nyc.gov/CCRB complaint. You could also call the CCRB's hotline, which is 1-800-341-CCRB or 1-800-341-2272. Remember, if you see footage of misconduct on social media or in the news, you can file a complaint. Even if you weren't there in person, feel free to tag the CCRB in the complaint and you'll receive a response. Additional ways to file a complaint to the CCRB about misconduct include calling 311, visiting the CCRB at our headquarters at 100 Church Street on the 10th floor in Lower Manhattan. You could also DM the CCRB on our social media platforms, which will be shared immediately after. You can send the CCRB a letter in the mail, once again, to 100 Church Street on the 10th floor, New York, zip code 10007. You could also file a complaint at any local police precinct. It does not have to be the precinct where the encounter interaction may have taken place. If you'd like to request a CCRB outreach presentation, feel free to contact the outreach unit at outreach@ccrb.nyc.gov. You could also follow us on our social media platforms, which include Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you very much, Chair Rice.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask if our board members have any additional questions. But before they do that, I want them to hold that thought because we have been joined by two additional board members who I'm going to ask to introduce themselves. So Willie Freeman. Willie?
Freeman. I'm a police commissioner designee.
Thank you so much, Willie. Appreciate that. And then also, I believe that Sal Carcaterra has also joined us as well.
Yes. Hi, Chair Rice. Congratulations. My name is Sal Carcaterra, and I'm a police commissioner designee, and I reside on Staten Island.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And do we have any questions about the presentation that was made by Jahai? Any questions from our board? Okay. We will now enter the public comment portion of the meeting. As you heard from our executive director, if you are interested in making a public comment, please use the raise your hand feature that can be found at the bottom of the screen, and we will go down the list. Please keep your comments to 2 minutes. And Yohira, would you please call on the first person?
Thank you, Chair. As we wait for folks to utilize the raise a hand feature, I just wanted to thank the following elected officials' offices and the representatives for being here in attendance. Councilmember Gail Brewer, Assemblymember Salazar, Councilmember Stevens, Councilmember Clark, Councilmember Rivera, Carlina Rivera, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, as well as the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office, Councilmember Narcisis and Councilmember Juan, in addition to the Queens Attorney General's Office, as well as Congressmember Meng. So thank you all for joining us. The first person on our list is Michael Myers.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
can you
Mr.
hear
Myers.
Me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Myers.
Yes, I have a couple of questions in my 2 minutes. My first question is, when and where will I find it in the minutes? When were the rules of the CCRB changed or amended to limit the public's participation, questions, and comments on your meetings to 2 minutes? I used to come to every meeting of the board, the CCRB board, and everybody at that time, every board member rejected the notion that you could limit the public comments and or questions to 2 minutes. And my second question is, when will in-person meetings of the CCRB board return in as much as the COVID situation is now under control?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Michael, for your 2 questions. I appreciate that, and I'm going to defer the first one.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to say I'm Michael Myers. I'm the president of the New York Civil Rights Coalition, for those who don't know.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Mr. Myers, and thank you for your 2 questions. And I'm going to defer both of those to our executive director because I'm not sure when the 2-minute rule went into effect, and then he can also respond in regards to when we will go into real life meetings again.
So the 2-minute rule is not in our rules. It was put in place when we originally started going into community to take comments. In many of the locations where we were going, we had a hard stop because the locations where we were wouldn't allow us to go long. And so we wanted to make sure that everyone who wanted to participate could. But it is a good point. We might need to look, and that might actually need to be a change that goes into the rules. Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Myers. And then the plan is to move to in-person meetings for the March meeting, but we are taking steps to ensure that we continue to do a live broadcast so that people have the opportunity to be in person as well as still be able to not only watch the meetings online, but participate when they are online.
So my question is that the board has never amended its rules to limit the public's questions and comments to 2 minutes. That is an ultra virus rule that you made up.
Well, thank you, Mr. Myers, for bringing that to our attention, and we will certainly bring it back to the board as we go into further discussions. But thank you for bringing that to our attention. We appreciate it. Yohira, can you tell us about who's next on the speakers list?
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Next on the list, we have Raul Rivera.
Hello, I'm trying to, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Rivera, we can hear you.
I can't see myself. I'm trying to set the video on. Can you guys set the video on? Oh, there you go. How you doing? My name is Raul Rivera. I'm a New York City TLC driver. I'm also a TLC driver advocate. We have a petition to reform the Tax and Benzene Commission. And I just want to bring to the attention of the CCRB, I'm a very outspoken advocate, and we fight for the drivers. And on July of 2020, I had a visit at my home from 2 NYPD officers. Apparently, somebody didn't like the fact, somebody didn't like the post that I was putting on Twitter. The officers told me that Twitter sent them to do a wellness check on me, and it turned real quickly. It turned from a wellness check to maybe I shouldn't post so much. Maybe I should take it easy with the posting that I'm posting, and I'm tagging high-profile people, and that was a little disturbing. I took it as intimidation and harassment. I filed a complaint with the CCRB, and apparently, according to the CCRB, I did it too late. The limitation on the complaint passed, which is actually not true because the CCRB allows 18 months for you to file your complaint, which I did. I filed my complaint 3 weeks before the 18 months. And I want the CCRB to understand that, when a person decides to file a complaint, they really contemplate it. And a lot of times, 6 months will go by, 3 months will go by, or maybe a year will go by because there's a lot of fear in filing complaints. And we know that the complaints are down at least according to what I was told in 2020, that the complaints are down, and that has to be corrected because I filed a complaint and now it goes nowhere. And I have 20 minutes of audio when this officer is speaking to me and telling me all these things. So I wish I'm going to have to go public and put it out there publicly on Twitter and contact the mayor.
All right. Thank you for sharing that with us, and also thank you for taking the time to file the complaint, because we realize that that's a decision that you have to make. I just wanted to, I realize, Mr. Rivera, that we're out of time, but I just wanted to see, were you making a comment or did you have a question as well?
Well, there needs to be a clarification of how much time a person has to file a complaint.
Okay. All right.
You
Then
can't,
I will ask John.
You can't say 18 months, the person files before 18 months, and then you get a notice saying that it's too late. When it's
Sure.
not,
Okay.
not too late.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. I'm going to ask our executive director to respond to the question about the statute of limitations on the complaint.
So the statute of limitations for these disciplinary investigations is 18 months, and that is set by state law, Civil Service Law, Section 75 of New York State, which means that the investigation needs to be complete, and if disciplinary charges are going to be brought against a member of service, they need to be served with those charges within 18 months, which means that not only do we need to receive the complaint within 18 months, we must fully investigate the complaint. The board needs to deliberate on the complaint, and we need to then go to the police department and have them take disciplinary action, which sometimes can take a considerable amount of time. And so it's not so much that we need to have the complaint within 18 months. It's that the entire investigation needs to be completed within 18 months from the date of incident. There's only one exception in the law to the statute of limitations in Civil Service Law, Section 75, and that we refer to as the crime exception. And that is if the conduct to which the officer is accused of committing could have been charged as a crime, then the statute of limitations does not apply. So in our rules, we have a process for complaints that come in there are two separate processes, one for cases that are past the statute of limitations and another one for cases that are over a year old, where we go through and we try and figure out if there is some way to complete the investigation within the statutorily approved period of time. We will conduct an investigation. But it is not a CCRB choice that the statute of limitations is 18 months. It's state law that set that requirement.
Thank you, Jonathan, for that clarification. That was extremely helpful. Yohira, do you have another person on the list?
That concludes the public session. Before that, just wanted to additionally thank Community Board 3 and Queens Community Board 16, the Office of Councilmember Hanks and Councilmember Hudson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to back to Mr. Myers' questions, if I could just address them real quick, because I think Mr. Myers brings up an important point, and he has been someone who has been very active in the creation of the CCRB and in the CCRB as it has existed for the last 25 years. And I don't want I want to certainly acknowledge his contributions to the agency and to the city, and just point out that when we set the time limit, we thought we were acting within the open meetings law, I will make sure that the general counsel's office goes back and looks at it, and we will report back as a staff to the board about how we should proceed in the future. I'll be honest with you, it's not something I had considered, and we'll look at it and report back to you.
Great. So thank you again, Mr. Myers, for bringing that to our attention. We appreciate it. Going to old business. Do we have any old business to come before the board? Old business. Okay, hearing none. Do we have any new business to come before the board? New business. Okay. Hearing none, I'm going to move now that we break into executive session. The agenda for the executive...
Chair, I'm sorry. I actually think more hands have been raised. I don't know if there's still time for public comment. But
Hira, do you have more questions? More hands have been raised?
Thank you. Yes, it looks like we have a few additional folks. Soren, can you, the next on the list will be Vincent Riggins.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having this session that's making it available to the community. My name is Vincent Riggins. I'm Chair of Public Safety for Community Board 5 in East New York, Brooklyn. And I apologize for coming on late, but I just had a few questions. One, can you guys now investigate officers without a formal complaint? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay. Mr. Riggins, could you go ahead and state your questions in a row, and then we can go ahead and answer them. And I'm holding the first, which is whether we can go forward with the case against an officer when there is no formal complaint. Is that correct?
Right. Can you now investigate officers without a formal complaint? And has a decision been made as to whether you guys will have final say on discipline of officers? And okay. I'll just stop right there because I don't want to take up all your time. You got other hands.
Thank you so much. I will once again go to our executive director to answer the questions that were raised in regards to doing an investigation without a formal complaint. And then the second, whether the CCRB has gotten final authority on recommendations that are made in regards to discipline. And I believe you're on mute.
Sorry, I needed to unmute. I apologize. The last year, the City Council changed the city charter, which gives the CCRB the power to investigate cases before we receive a complaint, without receiving a complaint. We have not yet changed our rules to set up the system by which the agency will determine what incidents it will investigate without receiving a complaint. I anticipate that conversation will begin in March, in either the March board meeting or the April board meeting. The second question,
whether
final authority. The police commissioner is the final arbiter of police discipline under state law right now. The agency has been asking for final authority for several years, and there is some legislation in Albany that would change the system and change the city charter so that the CCRB would have final authority, but that is not the situation we have right now.
Thank you. Yohira, is there another question?
Yes, next we'll be hearing from Savan Ozkanoglu. Apologies for mispronunciation.
Hi. I have a very quick question to Mr. Darcy. I have an open case. I have a case open for like more than a year ago, and the last time I heard from the investigator was like June 8th, and after that like I sent several emails and phone calls. I don't get any response from the investigator, and this doesn't sound normal to me. I mean, I understand that 18 months timeline to solve the case, but not hearing from the investigator for 8 months, it's not normal to me. This was my only comment and question. Thanks.
Thank you for that question, and I will ask John to respond. If he can on an open case.
I actually just looked in our system to see if I could find your complaint, and I don't see it. So I'm going to ask if you could hold on, and one of our investigators is going to take, or someone from the office is going to reach out to you right now and get your information, and we'll get back to you and see exactly what the disconnect is, because it is unusual. So I don't know what happened there, and we'll find out and we'll get back to you. Or if you hold on, we can tell you what's going on.
All right, so we're asking him to hold on and be directly connected with staff of CCRB to see if they can get that issue resolved. So thank you.
Perfect. And Sivan, I just sent you a message in the chat if you can read that. If not, we can email you with your registration information that you provided. Thank you so much. Next, we'll be hearing from, looks like Mr. Myers would like to say one more thing. Michael Myers.
Mr. Myers, if you had another comment. Are you still with us? Okay. Howard, can you see if he's still on the line? Can you tell?
Well, we'll try to reconnect. In the meantime, the next one on our list is Chad Royer.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chad Royer. I'm Vice Chair at Bronx Community Board 7 in the Bronx. Thank you for having a meeting. Two quick questions. In the interest of trying to set up an event for a group who may be interested, would that be virtual, or would that be in person, or would that be a combination of both? And then the other question that I have is, can someone file a CCRB complaint against an officer who is off duty?
Sure. Can I ask you to clarify your first question? You were asking about setting up a meeting, an outreach meeting, so that people could find out more about the CCRB process. I didn't know what type of event you were speaking of.
That's what I mean. Like if I want to invite CCRB to do an event, would it be in person or virtual or a combination of both?
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. John?
We could do both. We're eager to go out and meet folks and talk to them about the agency. And Jahai, if you could put again in the chat the ways to reach out to you, and we'll be happy to meet with your group, whether it's online, in person, or both. That's exciting. Thank you. And then what was your second question, sir?
All right. My second question was, can someone file a complaint against someone?
So
when they're off duty.
So the agency does not have jurisdiction against officers who are off duty unless they invoke their authority as a police officer. That is sometimes a complicated analysis that we do. If you feel that you were the victim of misconduct by an off-duty officer who invoked their authority, I suggest that you actually file a complaint with the agency and let us make the determination. If it is within our jurisdiction, we will investigate it. And if it's not within our jurisdiction, we'll refer it to the department so that they can investigate it.
Thank you.
Yahira, are there any other people on the list?
We'll try Mr. Myers again. If not, that will conclude the public session.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you for joining us again, Mr. Myers.
I tried to say it before. I was satisfied with the executive director's response to my initial questions. And as I said to the board earlier, I will see you next month for more than 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging the response. And we look forward to seeing you next month. Terrific. Yahira, does that conclude those who are on our list?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. So the agenda for the executive session is that the board will deliberate on one full board case and receive an update from the executive director and the general counsel. The executive director will discuss the following 3 items. 1, scheduling issues for panelists on full board cases, an update on pending personnel actions, and the general counsel will discuss the following updates: an update on current litigation. Do I have a second to close? Do I have a motion to close out the February CCRB meeting?
So moved.
Motion.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so moved. Thank you so very much, everyone. See you next month.